Hello and welcome to episode 97 of the HamCorp Training Manual. In this episode, I elaborate on the plan to make the component assembly line, before deciding to invest in UV progression first. We then take a look at bacterial cultures and the bacterial vat. So, the component assembly line. I would love to make this. And I can. The controller is totally fine. I can do this. I just need to scan an EV component assembly line casing, and this is just a bunch of EV parts. That's totally fine. The problem is putting together the actual multi-block. So let's look at what goes into this. So I need advanced filter casings. This is fine. Expensive, but it's fine. Advanced iridium plated machine casings. This is a lot of iridium. Osmium reinforced borosilicate glass. This is the UV glass. I've made this before. Not a problem. Assembler machine casings. Not a problem. PBI pipe casings. This is made from polybenzimidazole. This is fine as well. Tungsten steel frame boxes. Assembly line casings. All okay. The problem is the component assembly line casings. So here I have the ZPM one on screen right now, and this one is okay. I can do this. But it feels a little silly to do this because, one, these can't be recycled. I mean, there's this one scanner recipe, so I can use one for something new. But besides that, they can't be recycled. So it would make sense for me to just go all out and do the UV component assembly line casing, which is the highest I could do right now. But I kind of can't do this because, first of all, this is a lot of osmium. The super dense osmium plates are a stack of osmium each, and I need 43 of them. So that is a ton of osmium, but that I can deal with. The main problem is these two fluids. So molten advanced nitinol. It seems to me that the way to get this is from blocks of advanced nitinol, and these come from a laser engraver with a quantum anomaly. And this is a whole nother rabbit hole with a compact cyclotron, which is great. I'm glad there's more particle physics. But I think it's a bit too much to do at the moment because I'm still in the process of going through the beamline. The whole point of making the component assembly line, remember, was so that I could make more beamlines cheaply. The other fluid, the Molten Tyritsu, this one is actually mostly okay. The main problem is the bedrockium. Besides that, it uses nequadria, tungsten, carbon, vanadium, and black plutonium. All of these are okay. But the bedrockium, I don't have access to the ore, so it's a bit pricey to make the dust. Because each dust is going to come from one ingot, and each ingot is going to come from this assembler recipe with a diamond block and 6,561 cobblestone times 4 per bedrockium ingot. That's 26,244. And I don't need that much bedrockium, so I could do this. It's mainly the quantum anomaly that I don't really want to do at the moment. I feel like it might be too much effort for right now, but I also feel like I should make the best casing that I can. So I'm a bit conflicted. Actually, you know what? I have a decision. I'm going to do both. So first I'm going to do the ZPM component assembly line casings, and that will be my main component assembly line for some time. At least until I get this quantum anomaly and all of this other stuff, and then I can make the UV casings, and then I'll actually make a second component assembly line. Why should I just replace the casings when I can make a second machine and double my processing throughput? I mean, to be honest, I've been sleeping on parallelizing my machines. I mean, a lot of machines have internal parallels, and that's great. But for machines that don't, this is probably the best way of setting this up going forwards. So okay, I'm just going to go for the ZPM assembly line casings. Okay, slight change of plans. Very small. Actually, pretty big. Actually, pretty giant change of plans. So, to make the advanced filter casings, I looked at how much americium I need, and it's 5,857 ingots. That's a lot. I could fuse this together. I only have a single fusion reactor to do it, and because of that, it would take me 70 hours of fusion. That's a lot. However, I can spawn americium ore, and smelting americium dust into ingots is just a normal smelting recipe. It's not even a blast. To do this ritual, I need to sacrifice an advanced crop synthesizer 7, which is the UV crop synthesizer. And this needs a few things that I don't have. So I can make the emitters, I can make the machine hull, I cannot make the field gens, and I cannot make the UHV circuits. So the field gens, I could make them soon. So it's just a bunch of americium, some UHV circuits, which are the main problem here, some neutronium, some gravistars, emitters, and aquata alloy. The UHV circuits are a bit of a pain because I need to make wetware mainframes. That's the highest tier I can make at the moment. I can't make the bioware or anything like that. So I'm actually going to take a look at the quest line now and look at this. So I need UV field gens, like I mentioned. So this is the goal, basically, at the moment. To get to this, I need wetware mainframes. These need a research station to scan. So a simple scanner is no longer going to cut it. I need basically the scanner multi-block, which is the research station. We'll get to that. There's a quest about it. I also need a bunch of circuit components. All of this is fine. I do need superconductor wire, and I need some titanium. But also, of course, I need wetware supercomputers. And these are made in a circuit assembly line with wetware processor assemblies and some other stuff. And the processor assemblies are also made in an assembly line, and these use wetware processors. The wetware processors need neural processing units. These need stem cells. I don't know how to get stem cells. Growth catalyst medium, unknown crystal shards. I don't know what this is. Growth catalyst medium? This comes from fluid heating raw growth catalyst medium. And this comes from a bacterial vat. That's actually pretty exciting because if you remember in HV, a long time ago, like a year ago, I made styrene or polystyrene, and I said I will use it when I actually need it, and I never made a biolab. Well, I finally need it. In UV, I need it. That's crazy. So I need to do the biolab quest, I need to build a bacterial vat, and then I need to make stem cells. From that, I can make wetware life support circuit boards and extreme wetware life support circuit boards using some iron 3 chloride and some niobium titanium, which is fine. And then actually the rest of this is okay. I can do the rest of this. So once I have this bacterial vat and biolab set up, I can go through the rest of these quests all the way to UV field gen. I do also have to do the quantum computer and research station and UV energy hatch and superconductors and UV assembling. So basically the entire UV quest page is what I need to do at this point, minus the grade 5 water and grade 6. So, okay, small change plans. I'm going to finish off UV and then I'm going to work on the component assembly lines. And just so you know, that entire tangent was for the advanced filter casings alone. I haven't even looked at the component assembly line casings. You know what, let's look at them together right now. This is a giant craft. There are even things I haven't taught yet. This one's the loop that I still need to figure out how to automate. I just haven't tried yet, but it shouldn't be too bad. But I need like a lot of stuff. But actually this is fine. This doesn't seem to use that much neutronium or americium. It's mainly the filter casings that are my time bottleneck, which is kind of surprising because you look at this recipe and it's insane, and this recipe looks so simple. Back to progression. I didn't expect to do this already, but okay, let's do it. So the UV assembling quest was actually just a checkbox because I didn't actually need to make the assembler because I had the multi-block, the large-scale auto-assembler. So I could already do UV assembling recipes. Up next is the UV energy hatch, which should be pretty easy to make. I am currently doing the scan. It takes an hour in an HV scanner. I should have probably made a better scanner, but I'm about to get this research station anyway, so whatever. In the meantime, I have also made a biolab. I decided to make the ZPM one, because why not? And the quest reward is a couple of petri dishes. I could have done the loot bag, but loot bags have been disappointing so far, for the most part. So these petri dishes are obviously filthy. They're dirty. They're covered in grime and guck. But we want to clean them so that we can grow our own grime and guck inside of it. And this is done in an autoclave with chlorine or ammonia or ethanol or methanol. I will probably use chlorine. I do still need to make the bacterial vat, which is here. I haven't looked at how this works, but let me at least gather up the materials needed to build the vat. I have a feeling I'm going to need multiple vats, but let's start off with just one for now. The vat controller is very cheap at this point. Silver, HV machine hull, EV circuits, and some EV glass. So the bacterial vat is pretty unique, I think. So if you look at these recipes, these are very, very small amounts. But actually, if you hover over the output, it says it outputs up to 1001 times the amount, depending on the amount of fluid stored in the output hatch. which is interesting. So the way the bacterial vat works is, like it says in the tooltip, for maximum efficiency boost, keep the output hatch half filled. So if we use an output hatch and it's half filled, we're going to get 1001 times this output amount. That also means 1001 times the input amount, of course. You can't just generate things out of nothing, but that's pretty cool. So I need to figure out some kind of system to make sure that the output hatch is always half full. Some of these recipes have a specific glass tier requirement. I don't know if this is a minimum requirement or if it needs exactly that requirement. I'd be surprised if it was exactly that. Especially because some of these recipes also have a radiation requirement, and here it specifically says exactly. So the glass tier seems like a minimum, and the radiation requirement in sievert, that's a measurement of radiation in a sense, you need to provide an exact amount of radiation. And the way that's done is explained in this quest. So you can use radio hatches, and then you can store rods inside them, radioactive rods. Regular length rods, just rods, have a weight of 1 kilogram, and the long rods have a weight of 2 kilograms. And higher tiers of hatches can hold more mass. So the HV1 can hold 1 kilogram, so it can only hold a normal rod. But if you go up to UV, like it says in the quest, you can hold 6 kilograms. So it lasts longer. You don't need to refill it as often. Also, because it's an exact amount of radiation, you do need to be able to set the amount of radiation that your recipe sees. And you can do that by using a screwdriver on the radio hatch. So the way it works is you provide a rod that is more radioactive than what you need, and then you use a screwdriver to limit the amount of radiation. I assume in a realism sense, this means like you're using the screwdriver to screw in like lead plates or something so that the target sees less radiation. So I will need a radio hatch, also input bus, input hatch, energy hatch. You know, you've seen all this shit. For now, my actual goal with the bacterial vat is to make bacteria cells. And the bacteria cells have a couple of different recipes I can use. These two are out of reach. It's infinity catalyst. Well, at the end of this whole side adventure, I'll have some infinity catalyst. But for now, I don't have any. So I won't be able to do these two recipes. I could do the BioChef one. It seems like dog shit because BioChef kind of sucks to get. So I will probably be doing the mysterious crystal recipe. So I need distilled water, 1001 times as much, and that will make a ton of bacteria. It's also possible to make bacteria in a brewery, but this is worse. The bacterial vat is more efficient. After that, to make raw growth catalyst medium, I will need a second bacterial vat, so I think I will make 2. And there are a few different recipes I can use here. I think I'll just go for the best one. The one that uses mincemeat, salt, calcium dust, and agar, along with some mutagen. Needs ZPM glass and ZPM power, but that's fine. And that'll get us our raw growth catalyst medium. And then this, finally, can be turned into growth catalyst medium, which is what I need for stem cells. All right, I'm going to set up these bacterial vats, set up this line, and see if I can figure out how to automate it. Oh, I think I misunderstood. I think this petri dish with a culture is not a product. I think it's used. I think it's kind of like a catalyst. Also, I didn't mention this before, but the agar actually has a bit of a processing line. It's not too crazy. So it starts with minced meat and bones, and this goes in with diluted sulfuric acid to get collagen. Collagen is combined with phosphoric and water to get gelatin mixture. Gelatin mixture is centrifuged to get your phosphorus dust and also gelatin. And finally, gelatin is mixed with distilled water to make agar. And for the bacterial vat recipes, I need to make the petri dishes first. This is done in a biolab. There are a bunch of different biolab recipes that get you different cultures. So the ones I want are one to make the bacteria. So Bacteria is the name of the culture, with a 60% chance of success, with some BioChef and some bacteria. And this first batch of bacteria I'm going to have to make in the brewery, which is understandable. And for the raw growth catalyst medium, I need Ova evolutionis. And this is made with an egg and some bacteria in a biolab with a 15% chance of success. So cool, I think I get it. Let me try and automate everything. Here's a cute little sad thing that I just noticed. So there is no multi-block biolab, and there are some clean room recipes here, like this one, which means I cannot dismantle my clean room. I wanted to dismantle this thing because look, there's like barely any machines in there, and really all of them could be moved outside to the multi-blocks, and then I could just get rid of the clean room. But no, I still need it for the biolab. So I'm gonna have to stick with this basically forever, at least until I get all of the different cultures at least once. I could make it smaller though, save some space. Maybe I'll do that at some point. Anyway, let's see if I can hit this 60% drop rate. Sick. Perfect. Game is too easy. And the Ova Evolutionis, 15% chance. We get this. We get this first try. Don't even trip. Shit! Alright, I got it. It's a 15% chance, which is approximately 1 in 6, and I think this was my 6th attempt, so just on rate. Acceptable. So I'm just now getting around to setting up bacterial vats, and I need Mysterious Crystal, which I can now get from meteors, which is very nice. So that solves this step, making the bacteria. And I could use that bacteria to do the raw growth catalyst medium, but I kind of think I should do the mutagen recipe instead, because this is ZPM, which I can do now, and I need mutagen, which I think I can make. And this would be 4 times as efficient. So how do I get this mutagen? Not like this. Actually, I get it from a bacterial vat. Still from Mysterious Crystal and distilled water, but I need a different culture. I need mutagen bacteria aspacio. This I can get from Mysterious Crystal and some mutagen. So the first batch of mutagen I need to do by hand, of course. And that will be done here in the distillery from fermented bacterial sludge. And that I can get from a fermenter, from enriched bacterial sludge. And enriched bacterial sludge I can get in a brewery from bacterial sludge. And finally, bacterial sludge, not from any of these actually, I get it from Mars. But ideally I would make this culture so I can make more. It's a lot of vats that I need. I'll be back when it's all set up and I'll explain the path that I take to get to the raw growth catalyst medium. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, I will finish setting up the vats and start generating stem cells. I realized that this episode was mostly a bunch of talking about my plans, and we didn't really do that much, but I hope it was still an informative training manual. See you next time.